When I ask you to think of two artists that would never collab on a song, who are the first two people that come to mind? Bia Badoobie and NBA Youngboy? Yes, quite possibly, but I'm thinking of two others. Yeah, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, two of the biggest artists in the game with their own unique sound who hate each other. So today I'm kind of taking on an impossible challenge. What if we combined both of their sounds into one beat? What would that sound like? But before I even touch the doll, we have to understand how we got here in the first place. So let's take a deeper dive into their stories, their rise to fame, and how their friendship turned into one of the most intense feuds in hip hop history. So Drake and Kendrick Lamar come from two completely different worlds. Drake was born and raised by his mother in Toronto, Canada. And before music, he actually got his start on his career through being an actor. It was on this show called Degrassi or something. And this is a role that would actually shape his understanding of storytelling and performance when he later got into music. And Kendrick Lamar, born just a year later in Compton, California, grew up surrounded by the deeply rooted culture of the West Coast. Inspired by the struggles of his city and the storytelling of the legendary artist Tupac, Kendrick saw music as more than entertainment. It was a way to document his reality. Two people with completely different upbringings and influences, but one thing in common: their love for music. Fast forward to 2009, Drake drops his mixtape So Far Gone, and this ended up catching the attention of Lil Wayne. At this time, Lil Wayne's the biggest artist in hip hop, and he ends up signing him to Young Money Entertainment. And because of this, by 2010, Drake has already solidified himself as a mainstream artist, especially being known for blending that rap and R&B sound into a way that nobody's done before, which is now part of Drake's signature sound. Meanwhile, Kendrick has yet to even release a studio album. He's pretty much working in the underground, sharpening his pen game. And then in 2012, Kendrick dropped his album Good Kid, Mad City, and this was the start of Kendrick's rise as an artist. This album pretty much proved that he could achieve the same commercial success as any other artist without losing his integrity as an artist. And by 2013, both Drake and Kendrick were rising towards the top of the game, but at this point, they weren't rivals, they were friends. Kind of. Drake and Kendrick crossed paths multiple times throughout their careers. They collaborated on a song, Poetic Justice, and Drake even invited Kendrick to tour with him and A$AP Rocky on his Paradise Club tour. But that mutual respect took a turn in 2013. That year, Kendrick dropped his infamous verse on Big Sean's Control. He says, "I got love for all you, but I'm trying to murder you." To be continued. He called out nearly every major rapper, including Drake. And this moment kind of changed everything. It was the start of the tension between the two. And from then, the tension only started to rise. And for the next decade, the beef pretty much existed in the shadows. They were never openly at war, but the respect between the two has clearly faded. Then, in 2023 to 2024, everything changed. In 2023, Drake and J. Cole dropped the song First Person Shooter, where Cole raps, "Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or is it me?" He then says, "We like the big three like we started the league." Kendrick was not having any of that. In March of 2024, Kendrick is featured on Future and Metro Boomin's song Like That. And he says, "Motherfucking big three, it's just big me." And after this, it's just full-blown chaos, as you probably know. Drake and Kendrick going back and forth, throwing diss tracks at each other. J. Cole hops in for a second and then sees all the shit that's being flung around and then just immediately pulls out. Drake's clowning Kendrick's height, his shoe size, his deal that he made with his label. Kendrick hitting back harder, calling out Drake for being fake, getting plastic surgery, saying that nobody in the rap game even likes him. And then came the mother load. Kendrick drops the song Not Like Us, produced by DJ Mustard, a track so ruthless that it became a cultural moment in hip-hop history. This wasn't just a diss, it was a celebration of Drake's downfall. It dominated social media, it was playing at parties, we had DJs mixing it everywhere, and this pretty much was the stamp that ended the war and put Kendrick in the favor of who won. And by the end of it, the debate was settled, Kendrick won. So let's fast forward to now. The beef has pretty much settled down, and both artists just dropped new albums. Kendrick just dropped G&X, I think this was in December, and then Drake just dropped Some Sexy Songs for You with Party Next Door. I think we all know that Drake has really mastered that sound of blending rap with R&B together to create those really smooth, atmospheric vibes that almost seem effortless. And his latest album, Some Sexy Songs for You with Party Next Door, is pretty much encapsulating that whole feeling. Kendrick, on the other hand, brings urgency and raw storytelling to his music. His latest album, G&X, is filled with a bunch of different vibes, but some key points that I noticed are the hard-hitting drums, the funky bass lines, and intricate flows. Kendrick is really good at making music that makes you feel alive and keeps you on your toes. So here's the challenge. I'm going to be taking taking inspiration from both of their recent albums to make a beat. And if I get this right, this beat should sound like something that they could both hop on. All right, let's cook up. Okay, let's just start off with a little tempo selection here. Gonna go for something a little slower. And for the plan here is I want to combine some of that R&B Drake sound with that West Coast sound that Kendrick has. And if you listen to Kendrick Lamar, you really know that West Coast stuff that he's been doing with DJ Mustard isn't really his sound. It's definitely his most popular part of his catalog, but overall, Kendrick is a really raw and unpredictable artist. But that being said, I'm still gonna go with the West Coast vibes for this one. And to start with the combination, I wanna get some smooth R&B chords down, similar to a lot of Drake stuff. I'm gonna go to my 100K community kit. I'm gonna grab my Win multi-shot. How do I want this to transition? That will stay up here, but we'll take this A and then move it down. Getting the last chord of your progression is probably the most important because it has to sound good because it comes after your second to last chord, but it also has to lead up back into the first chord. It has to pretty much flow as a loop. So if there's one chord that you really want to get down, it's your last chord of your loop. Why am I yellow? I don't want this. Why am I yellow? That's a good question. Because I'm Asian. Okay, so we got a nice chord progression down. We're gonna do a little bit of layering. Simply copy and paste. I'm definitely going for the more ambient side of the R&B sound that Drake has, not too much of the really melodic stuff. But as Boy Wonder says, one of Drake's main producers, you gotta leave a lot of space. Apparently Drake literally goes into Boy Wonder's beats with beats that he likes, and he like takes out like half of the sounds because there needs to be space. There needs just space with everything. I've been using this VST a lot lately. It's called Falcon and it's by UVI, and it's pretty much just like an enhanced version of Contact, I guess, in a way. It's like a Contact for sound designers pretty much. I just say that because if you want to edit every single part of your sound, you can, and there's also some really great presets in here, especially for stuff that's evolving, anything that you want to layer sounds with. This has been my go-to lately. I got this bass from Desirite's bundle pack. I like that one. Just layered it with a little pluck bass. We're gonna change the time multiplier knob on this FX here to make it longer, and we're gonna put the mode on E3 mono so that it stretches without losing any quality. I already fucked it up. Every time I press record, I fuck it up. Let's render that out. Take that last part. Oh, that's fire. Yeah, you thought we was finished there? We're gonna take the stems of everything and lay it out similar to how I would a loop. Then we're gonna consolidate it and then chop it, flip it, sample it again. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, but we're gonna do stuff until I like it. Okay, check what I just flipped this into. I gotta put the drums on this now. It's drums time with a Z. Okay, so the tempo that we have set right now is actually pretty perfect because a lot of R&B tempos are usually from that 90 to 110 range, and that's the same for West Coast beats too. And although this sample is pretty laid back, I think that the drums are really gonna come in and then just turn it up a lot. You know, my boy Infinite sent me his recent G-Funk kit and I forgot to download it, so let's try this out for this beat. Let's just get the claps down first. I always love going to my claps from the Cosmic Files kit, by the way. I always love going to my claps and messing with the pitch right over here. I usually like to use it on speakers too, but just try to mess with the pitch. I know that Metro does this a lot with his drums, and everybody knows that Metro's drums are some of like the most perfect sounding. So I think a great tip is to just mess with the pitch and mess with the shift knob. Two of the most basic but extremely essential parts to making a good drum bounce with your beats. Leave a lot of space, and then gotta get this filled down. I'm gonna do this one trick where you come down here to the note repeat and then just get that. And then I want to have for the second part over here, when this part comes in, I want to have this, like some hi-hats going a little bit crazy with the rolls. Then we'll go to the note repeat and then put those up. Get a zap. I think we're gonna have like just like a section where the open hat's going a little bit crazy. And lastly, the 808. Des Wright just dropped this new drum kit. It's got a bunch of crazy 808s in here. And then we gotta do the DJ Mustard effect with the 808s, note repeat. That wraps up the full beat here. All I gotta do is just mix and lay this out, then we can listen to the full beat together. But before we do that, I gotta say thank you for watching all the way to the end on this video. Make sure to let me know down in the comments who you think would sound better on this beat, Kendrick Lamar or Drake. I honestly think that Drake would sound better on this one, but I may be wrong. Let me know down in the comments. Shout out to Infinite and Des Wright. I use both of their kits in this beat, and there will be links in the description so that you guys can go check them out. I also use the 100K community kit for some of the sounds making the melodies, so that'll be in the description too, and that's 100% free. But in total, that's gonna wrap it up for me. You can catch me on Instagram at ProudLucent. I'm out. I'm out.